Hey everyone, it's Steve,
Hey, it's Blake.
and we're here to have another game chat all about NBA 2K18 on the Nintendo Switch. All right, so NBA 2K18, first one on a Nintendo system in a long time. And we were talking earlier, Blake, about how this is the first time I've actually purchased, I think, a 2K basketball game altogether. Have you been into the 2K series for a while?
I have, but not on Nintendo consoles, right? So
Yeah.
I've played a little bit more on the PlayStation. My wife really enjoys the series because she like gets into like basketball stuff a lot and sports games, and so we tend to buy it like about every year, it seems like. So yeah, so we've played a lot of NBA 2K
Cool.
in our time, but it's like it seems like it's been forever. I don't know if I ever have purchased one on the Nintendo console. I know there was one for the Wii U, like
Yeah.
NBA 2K13 or something like
Something
that,
like that,
but
yeah.
I did not play it.
Yeah.
So that's right on the Wii U. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been forever for me as well.
Yeah,
So
Nintendo systems really haven't been supported with the sports industry for a long time. I mean, I know FIFA was going for a while, and then even that stopped off. But it's been a while since I played an actual NBA game on a Nintendo system. I remember playing NBA Jam when they came out for Wii. That was awesome.
oh
But a
yeah,
full
yeah.
fledged NBA
That's the
game,
good
it's been
stuff.
a while. So it's cool to have it have the support on there. I hope they keep it up. Um, is
Yeah.
it odd to you that it's only download?
Yes, it is. It's a little bit sad.
Yeah.
I was like, and they're talking about like next month, I think, is going to be the actual like physical release,
They are
But
okay.
yeah, so I think like October like 21st or something like that, they're like you could get it like that in physical form, but
Yeah.
I was just like that just seems so strange. Like when you're having like an early tip-off edition kind of
Yeah.
thing, and you have it for all the systems except the Nintendo
Yeah.
Switch. The only way you get that is if you just download it
Yeah.
onto your system.
Yeah. Here's the
So
thing. Like
yeah,
I purchased this, you purchased your copy with these are not review copies that we got.
that's right. That's
And
right.
I promise I actually because I'm not used to getting a sports game on a Nintendo system, I went to like several different stores trying to find the retail copy because I didn't
Did you
realize that it was
really?
download only.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's right.
And I was
That's
like, "What?
right.
I can find the Xbox version and the PlayStation version. Where's the Switch version? I know it's out."
That's right. That's right. Oh, it's so true.
Because
It's
I usually
sad.
do try to down or try to get the physical copies of sports games because I don't like if I do re up next year or in 2 years, I'm not gonna play the old one again, so I don't want to download it on my system. I want to just trade it in and get the new version. And
Yes.
so it's kind of a bummer that I had to download this time if I wanted to early, I
Yeah,
guess.
absolutely. And I'm not a big download fan of like my games,
Hmm.
especially like if I can get a physical form, but I was like, my wife really wanted to play it, and I was kind of
Yeah,
like, well, yeah, we can do this. So yeah,
yeah,
it's a little bit sad because I'm with you. I'm like, yeah, tend to be the games that I like to trade in a little bit,
hmm,
but I did kind of trade the old ones and got like a Nintendo gift card with it and just
yeah,
used that. But I was like, I don't know, save me a few bucks like that anyway.
yeah.
But it's going to be interesting next year to see what happens too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. So, just overall thoughts about the game. What are you thinking? Just kind of off the cuff. What are you
Yeah,
liking it so
yeah.
far?
Man, I'm telling you, Steve, like I like some things, and then there are other things that I just like cannot understand. It's
I have
like
no idea what you're talking about. No.
I know, right? You probably don't. So it's like, oh, it's so. Oh, I want to really love this
Yeah.
game, and I want it to be like, oh yes, we get this great like AAA sports title onto the Switch, and it's great to see that, and it is, and. I mean, it looks good. I feel like the graphics are pretty decent.
Mhm.
The frame rate is pretty good, pretty solid, 30 frames when you get in there into the actual game. The mess that you get into on the other side is it's just like it seems like there's moments where the frame rate drops to like 3 frames per second or something, right? Like it's just like, what is going on right now? It's like stalling and randomly, like, I don't know. It just feels like there's even moments in like my career, you'll like
Yeah.
be watching a cutscene or whatever, and I don't know if you've had this problem,
Yeah.
but like the voices stuff will be
Yeah.
like done, but the people will still be acting it out and talking, and
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, I have to wait here 2, 3 minutes, something like that afterwards.
Yeah.
So there are so many like glitch things that I feel like are surrounding this game that make it a little bit cloudy for me.
Mm.
And then there are some things that I'm like, it's great to have this and in a way that you can take it portably, all that stuff. So what about you?
Yeah.
What have been your
Yeah,
thoughts?
yeah, I
Yeah,
totally I hear you. Like, I think
yeah.
it's great to have it, and it's a full fledged NBA 2K game on there. I was looking through even the different the modes and stuff. I was like, there's tons of game packed into this, which is really cool. But then, yeah, you get where at some of the scenes, like it's just like, and to make matters worse, here's what I did. I played the Prelude on Xbox One. So I
Oh
saw what
yes.
the game could look like
Oh
in
no.
like full
Oh,
HD running at 60 frames per second,
yeah.
and it was really nice and I really liked
Yeah.
it. And so when I went into the store and I saw the Xbox version sitting there and I
Oh
didn't find
man.
a Switch version, you know how tempting it was to buy it on the Xbox because I knew how good it looked. And I was like,
Wow, yeah,
but I
I
really want to
bet.
play it on the go. I really want to play it on the Switch. I really want to support it. And so I finally did. I went home and I downloaded it, but it was very tempting because I knew how good it does look on Xbox. And that's the thing. I think like it's cool to hear from you because you've only seen the Switch version, but coming from the Xbox version to the Switch, it was rough to like make that change because I felt like I was giving up quite a bit to go with the Nintendo version. Um,
Yeah. My wife would
yeah.
probably be in the same group as you because she actually played the Prelude on the PS4.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't play it there. So she probably had seen stuff and then
Yeah.
she's experiencing some of these moments. It may be a little bit
Yeah.
rockier. She may
Yeah.
have some thoughts there
and
too.
and
But
I think that's part of the problem too. Like you were talking about the frame rate drops. You know, for the most part, like 98% of the time, it's really smooth and really runs well. Even for 30 frames per second, it's good
yeah,
enough. I think
it
for a
really
sports
is.
game. But those times
Hmm.
that it drops is like sometimes it's in the cutscenes and stuff like that, and that's just goofy. But when it happens in game, that's critical things that like all of a sudden will cost you the ball. Sometimes I will totally miss a shot.
Yeah.
I feel like I was getting pretty good at the timing for shooting in the Xbox version, and then I got to the Switch, and I'm like, oh, I need that frame rate to be just that much better so that I can actually hit the
Oh,
timing perfectly. Because
it's so
like when you
true.
got like someone that's an amazing shooter, it's not that big of a deal because you can get somewhere in that range and it's probably going to go in. But you get someone that's not that great of a shooter, you need that to be spot on so you can know exactly when to let go of the button, and that's
Ah.
kind of a problem. But
Oh yes, absolutely. So I couldn't agree with you more. Like that's kind of the overarching theme
yeah,
probably that I'm seeing and hearing from people as well. But it's like I just get so saddened by that a little bit. And I feel
yeah,
like even like passing sometimes, like
mm,
I feel like I push the pass button and it's like a little delayed
yeah,
or something too. And I'm just like, oh no, I had to get my guy like a
right.
second ago.
Yeah,
So
right
yeah,
then. Like
that's right.
like
I was like,
basketball is a
yes,
split
like
second game. He was open then, but not 1 second later.
yeah,
Yes.
that's right. That's right. Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it's so true.
yeah.
And then I'm like, don't even get me started on the microtransactions all over the place everywhere. Like it's just like you go in and you try to do like a little bit of thing like get your hair cut and stuff and get a beard and you can't afford it because you're
Right.
like, well, you don't have the VC for this. And
Yeah,
so it's just
yeah,
it's crazy. I was like, it just feels like, man, why are these things in here so much? Like, yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming, I feel like at times. And so
yeah,
I'm I'm a fan. I've played probably 20 hours of it now or
yeah,
something. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I've went through all the modes and all of that stuff. And yeah, there's just these little things.
yeah,
And, we talked about online too. I'm sure we're going to talk about it in a little bit, but it's just, it's weird,
yeah,
weird decisions that are
yeah.
being made. And I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
weird decisions, and I feel like I just have this overall like I don't feel like the game was done yet. Like it's not has that final polish on it. It wasn't like I
Yeah,
feel like they kind of like got it most of the way there, and they're like, it's time to ship it out the door. Let's go. Or like they
yeah,
needed one more pass through with like a few more testers and go, oh wait, we need to finish that thing before we ship it out the door, and oh that thing needs to be polished a little more before we ship it out the door. Like it's not a whole lot of work, but there's just like little things. You're like, "Oh, did
yeah.
you forget about that? Like,
It's so true. It's so true.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think you're right.
yeah. So
Mm,
what you said you played everything. I've went through I'd say most of everything. Let's first talk about online because you mentioned it like and
God.
it's
All right.
so you've actually got to try it. I've tried
Yes.
it. I tried to connect, but that's the thing. Like, I think there's less people that have bought the Nintendo versions, so like,
That's probably
I found
why.
no one to play against. I sat there and just waited and waited, and no one.
Oh,
Actually, someone started a game, and we picked the teams, and it was about like it was loading the game and going through the lineups, and then they dropped and so I was back out. So that was as close as I've gotten to play online so far.
oh, oh,
And
yeah.
and yet I look online and I was like I have friends on the Switch that have played it because they have their records on there, which is I thought was cool. I was like that's another way
Oh,
to bring it in
yeah.
there.
Oh,
But then I
yeah.
couldn't find a way to play them online. Um
Mm,
and I thought maybe I was
yeah.
just overlooking something. And then we got talking and you're like there is no way. There's no way to play your
Yeah.
friends online.
That's exactly right.
Why would they do such a thing?
It's so true. I'm just like, for real? Like, you can't even create like a league, like a My
Yeah.
League thing, and like have an online My League on the Switch version. You can apparently on the Xbox and PS4. And so I'm like, all right, you can't just like create put this in there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like of all the things, yeah, you can't play with your Nintendo friends basically on
You can play
there.
locally,
And
which is cool. Like if you ever,
yes, yeah, that's true.
that's awesome. But I'm like, but you
Yes.
forgot about the people that you don't live right next to. Like I wanted to play. I even said that. It's like, hey, let's play a game online before we start the chat. And they're like,
It's so
you can't really find each other online. I'm like, what? That just doesn't make sense.
oh yeah, not at all, not at all. And it's like I didn't have the same issues as you with the timing stuff, but because it felt like I only sat in there for like 30 seconds and I had a person to play against, so it wasn't bad. But when we did it, I said like I picked the regular Celtics, and which is still a good team, but they picked the all-time Bulls, and it was like this is ridiculous. So I'm like, they needed to have some sort of way of being like, well, here's you're playing an all-star team and you're playing regular, basketball team.
Yeah,
So yeah, I got beat pretty decently, but not
yeah,
too bad. But yeah, so it's just like, really, that's what's going on,
yeah.
and yeah, I feel like there's so much missing in that. Like, I would have loved to have enough of our friends from like Nintendo Fuse to be like, let's make a My League and just
Yeah,
like be able to play some stuff or something,
right.
online. But no go on
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah,
So
it's too
yeah,
bad. So how about the connections and everything? Did you have lag or was it pretty smooth?
yeah, I've had pretty good connections throughout. Um, a couple of times I had paused it. I think I was like I had to pause it and like take care of my daughter or something.
Hmm.
And when I came back, the game had literally like shut down because it just was like sitting there or something. And so it just like dropped completely. And I was like,
Oh.
well, all right, I guess that game's not having it. And it happened to me one other time and my wife one time as well. So I don't know if
Weird.
that's a thing that's happening with
Huh.
other people, but maybe just mine that it just like completely shut down. And
Weird.
so,
Is that just normal
yeah,
play or during online play?
yeah, it was really just during normal play,
Okay.
actually. Yeah, because I was doing my career. Yeah, both of us were kind of like playing one game
Weird.
in our like person stuff, and so
Oh wow.
yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah, I
So
haven't had
yeah,
that happen. But on
okay,
when you were
right.
playing online though, like was the connection pretty smooth on there?
Yeah, yeah, actually, it really was. So
Cool.
yeah, it was pretty solid. So
That's good.
yeah, I had no real issues there. It was about like I feel the same way as like playing a regular quit game kind of thing, I
Yeah.
thought. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah. and it holds pretty steady once you get in there. That's
Yeah.
what I like about it. I'm like, for me, it feels good after you load up the game and stuff,
Yeah.
but my issues come other times,
Yeah. Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah.
yep, that's right.
Yeah. Do
Mm,
you played through my career? That's where I spent most of
yeah.
my time
Okay.
through there
Yeah.
as well, and which I like. I think it's really
Yeah.
cool. I've done similar things in other sports games too, but I haven't. This is the first time I've taken like a basketball player through, and it's really fun to like kind of
Yeah.
personify yourself through them and
Yeah.
everything. What I
Yeah.
don't like though is the loading times between each thing. Like that's a. I
Oh,
mean, it's
yeah.
not very long. But I
Yeah.
hate that it has to load like everything when I go to a training. I'm like, I go through one thing,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
you got to go through the whole process again to do another one. And
Yes.
I feel like they've tried to make it a little too real sometimes, or like you have to have that conversation every time. I'm just no, I just want to hit the button
Yeah.
and go in. I'm playing like a video game because I want to escape from real life conversations.
That's
I have
right.
to
That's
talk to this
right.
guy every time I want to set up a training thing. I just want to like
Yes.
hit the
Yeah.
button and go into the training.
Oh yeah, it's so true. I was like, and like a fast travel thing would have been
Right?
awesome. Like
Yeah.
if you wanted to go to the store, just
Yeah.
click a button. You
Yeah.
don't have to like walk through the whole neighborhood or run through the
And it's a
neighborhood.
big
And
neighborhood.
it is. I'm like, yeah, I was like, man, this takes me a while just to go
Yeah.
see if I want some new shoes or something,
Right. Yeah,
So
it'd be nice if
yeah,
like Splatoon has, you have the neighborhood. If you want to walk around there, you can, but you can also have the quick menu to like pop right in
uh,
there. Something like that would be
very
great.
true.
Yeah.
Very true. That'd be amazing. That would
Yeah.
be a good added thing. So
Yeah.
2K, if you're listening, here you go. All right. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Because we know they listen.
Yeah,
So
right. That's
so
right.
yeah, and the big thing is for me is and maybe I don't value the different haircuts and the clothes and all that stuff enough. Some things that I mean you kind of have to because it does add to your player, but other things you don't as much. And so I'm not that bothered by the microtransactions because I choose to ignore them. Uh,
Yeah,
However, I
that's
don't like they're
right.
there, but I've just
Yeah,
chosen to ignore them instead. But it is kind
yeah.
of weird. I mean, you could sink a ton of money into this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Man, it's like you buy the game and then you still have like so much that they're like, "Hey, give us your money
Right.
so you can be at another level, and stuff." And oh,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It really is.
And what it is
Yeah.
like the signature version or whatever the highest version, it's like $150 for the game.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
right.
like, I don't think I want to pay just as much for a sports 1 year, yearly annual sports game that I did like half the amount that I played for the entire Nintendo Switch.
That's right. It's so true. Yeah, that is right. Oh, it's just, yeah, it gets to be too crazy.
It is.
And, it's like it charges you so much to level up your player. Like
Mm,
one little thing can sometimes be a couple thousand VC, and it's just like, man, that takes forever.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, but so people get to a place where they're just like, well, I just want to get my player to be the
Right.
best they can be. And then, yeah. So, oh, I feel for all those people that really put a lot of money into this. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's like, yeah, it can be scary how much you could do,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I
I've
end up just
always
doing my GM and like
yeah.
playing a few games on there, and then you have the VC, and
Yeah.
then you could go like improve your player.
Right.
So I've only played like 5 games or something like that in the like regular season
Right.
of my career.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like that's actually what I'm finding that I like the most about this game is its depth. That there is a lot more because I'm used to like old school like NBA Live. I played a lot of NBA Live back in the day, and really you get those games and just to play. Just
Mm,
basic games,
mm,
you play against a friend or
yeah,
play against the computer, and that's it. Maybe you make it through a season and a tournament and all that sort of thing, but that's it. Like that's the whole game. And I've
yeah,
found that I've actually only played I think one regular game. Like the rest of the time, I'm working
really,
on my career. I'm working on the
yeah.
other stuff because it's actually drawing me in more than just the regular
Ah,
game
that's
is.
cool.
Um,
That's really cool.
yeah,
That's right. So I like to hear that because I'm like, I hear other people say they're just like, we don't need a story mode like this. It's just like we just want to do this. And so I was like, I kind of lean on the fence of it all, but
mm,
I do like that it kind of it kind of sucks you in a little bit like an RPG kind
Yeah,
of can, because you're kind of like, oh, I want to level up my
yeah,
player, and I want to, work to do some grinding for this badge
right,
or whatever, so
yeah,
yeah, that does intrigue me.
yeah.
So yeah, I enjoy those
I
things
did
as
find it
well.
interesting though, because when I was going through the Prelude on the Xbox and then I played it again on Switch, like I did better on Xbox than I did in Switch, and I actually like I found out like the results are the same. It doesn't
Oh
matter if you
yeah,
do well in the tryout or you botch the tryout, like you
yeah.
still get to go like through. I'm like, okay, like it would have been interesting if they said they like said game over. Sorry, you got to start over
Uh,
again because you messed up and
ooh,
you lost
yeah.
out. Like start over again. But it didn't matter how well I did. It was kind of more of a training thing
Okay. Yeah.
instead of an actual like consequence on how you performed. And I think it would have been better if it was more driven to consequence, because like I could have just sat there and let the controller sit there and let the time run out, and I would have still got the same result in the end. I still would have got the
Really.
call from the NBA. Like,
Okay, see, that makes sense.
yeah,
I'm like, maybe I shouldn't care that much
yeah.
about how well I do right now. And
No, you
yeah,
shouldn't.
but people,
No,
they were just like, oh, you're going to be picked for like the final game of that
yeah,
like prelude thing anyway and
yep,
stuff. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
yep.
All right, I see. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Doesn't
right.
matter. I mean, I was trying my hardest on the Xbox and did it, and then I messed up one time on the on Switch, and I was like, I still got picked, and then I still got
Yeah,
called the NBA,
okay.
and I still got the opportunity. I'm like, I could have just got a sandwich and like waited until it was all done, just hit A over and over again and been done. So,
Oh, I love it. Yep, that's right. That's right. It's like, yep, that's perfect. Oh man.
so what else are you playing that you like about the game that you can keep
Yeah.
going back to other than my career?
Yeah, I did I've done quite a bit of the my GM
Oh
thing,
yeah,
and I have mixed feelings there as
yeah,
well. So I'm like, yeah, because they put in the story to it,
yeah,
and 2K just likes stories, I
yeah.
think, with these basketball games. And like I literally have like picked my Celtics, and I'm like I'm making a few trades, and I'm doing some things that I really like. And then like there's this moment, it's right at the beginning basically of the story, but like your owner like sells the team, and you get this new owner who's like a big jerk, and he's just like doing all this stuff, and he's like, I want you to do this and do this and hire my son, and you can't really choose
Oh,
to not, and you can't really like make decisions really
hmm,
for a while, because they're going to make a trade whether you want to make a trade or
hmm,
not. And so they like literally took my point guard and gave me another power forward that I didn't even like need. I have four power forwards now and a point guard.
a
So
point
it's just like,
guard.
I know, it's like really like, yeah, I'm like, I had Trey Burke to back up Kyrie Irving, and they got rid of Trey Burke, and
Oh,
yeah,
well,
so
at least you're stuck with Irving. I mean, you
I
could
know,
be
right? I
stuck
was
with
like,
Burke.
yeah, at least like just don't get hurt, brother.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
it. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So, oh, but it's really crazy. Like I'm like, there's some moments where I'm just like, really, I want to just like do this, and
Yeah.
the my league kind of lends itself more to that because you don't have like the story elements
Right.
of it all. But yeah, so I'm hoping. I don't know what happens later on, so.
Yeah.
People are probably going to be like, "Oh, just keep playing; it's awesome at the end or
Yeah.
something." But
Yeah.
I'm like I'm in the middle, and it's just like, dude, I didn't really want this guy to be that big of a jerk to me. And like, yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
And they made the trade like at the trade deadline, so I can't even trade
Oh.
back. It's a guy. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what I do now. I just
Right.
play with this team. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really it's interesting. I've liked it, but I also am like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's moments.
It seems
So
like yeah, they yet again like they almost got it there, and then they just need to push it a little more to like actually get it where it needed to be. Because I feel like
yes.
that the same thing, either my career or my GM or whatever. Like if they were able to just give you a little more control over actually what happened, like that would
Yeah.
have been really cool to like actually see your own consequences and be able to make that decision a little more. And I guess maybe they're trying to like put you in the real GM shoes. Like all of a sudden you jump in and they're like, okay, you're just told what to do. Sorry, you're the new guy. You got to deal with this
Yes.
no matter what.
Yeah.
But maybe sometimes it would have been nice to actually have a little more control over you know where the
Yeah.
story's going, and maybe that's too
Yeah.
much to ask of a sports game. I don't know.
I know, right?
I mean, but
And sometimes the story doesn't fit because it's just like, oh, like he gets upset with Kyrie Irving and he like blames him for like losing all these games, and I'm like, well, we've lost 10 games total this year. I'm like, we literally have been on a like 10-game win streak, and they're like, all right, well, we're so upset that Kyrie's blowing it for us, and we're like, I'm just like, no, he's really not.
I've got
He's
the best
doing
record in the NBA.
that's right. That's like the best record in the NBA. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? So yeah, yeah. So I always laugh at some of those moments. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, that doesn't really fit, but
yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it was like they took. I mean, this really sounds harsh, but I wonder if they took some people that have like no idea about the NBA and you're like, hey, why don't you add a story to this?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. So I'm like, it's very interesting. So yeah, yeah, absolutely.
I do like the scenarios they give you. I forget what that's called. Is it the My League or something like that?
Yeah,
Where they kind of give you scenarios that you get to play out, and that's always fun too.
yeah,
So
yeah, that's right. I've done a little bit of that, like,
yeah,
yeah, with the I think it was through the My Team part where you
my
got your
team. Yeah, that's
cards
what it
and
is. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
that's
With the
right. And it
cards.
kind of just like, yeah, you had to play a certain thing and
Yeah,
like, yep, win
yeah.
the game or
Right,
whatever.
yeah. That reminds me a little bit of I don't know if you played FIFA at all, but like the FIFA Ultimate Team and stuff. So you get your cards and you get to build your team over time and everything, which is fun. For that, you kind of just take it through tournaments and everything. But this kind of you get to play through different scenarios, which I thought was interesting. Like, as they give you like key moments throughout NBA history and stuff. And so it was kind of fun to
Oh
like
yeah,
take your team into those situations and see if you could pull off the same end result. That was kind of
yeah,
fun.
yeah. I like that too. I
Yeah,
think that's cool. Yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Hmm.
Have you watched
Yeah.
2K TV?
Yeah, not too much. No, pretty much
I,
skip it,
I
right?
think it's interesting, like especially the interviews with the players. But I'm finding I watch it because you get to answer trivia or whatever, and you get VC from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
I
like as
know
it's
my wife
playing,
was doing something like that one time, I think. I was like, oh, I probably should. I'm
yeah.
like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
I
Any way you
do
can get
love.
that stuff, I'm
Yeah,
good. That's
yeah,
right.
exactly. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
that's
we're gonna get some free VC. Uh,
yes, that's right. Uh,
what do you think of the commentators? I
yes.
love that they
Well,
actually got the Ernie Johnson, Shaq, and oh, what's
that's
his name?
right.
Um,
And yeah, Kenny the Jet.
Kenny,
That's right.
yeah,
Smith.
Kenny
So
Smith.
yeah. I was like, some of their stuff
They're
is
hilarious.
hilarious, actually. You watch it, it's like, yeah, yeah, it's definitely worth checking out, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh man.
they nailed him spot on so many
Yeah, they
times.
did. That's right. It's so true. Oh man.
Uh,
Oh Shaq.
yeah.
He's a character anyway. So
it's
yeah.
There are many times that I wish that the record function was like on the Switch right now because I wanted to screen record what was going on because I was like it's just all that funny. I want to watch it over and over again.
Oh, it's so true. That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. I'm
Oh
with you.
man.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So what else? What have we not hit so far about this game? Anything that you're like, you know what, that's I wish this is an area they could really improve, or anything that you really liked that we haven't talked about yet?
Wow. Yeah, I don't really know, Steve. Actually, I think that might be
Yeah.
a big chunk. I think we've really kind of hit on all the stuff that I wanted to
Yeah.
share about it a little bit too. So yeah,
So if someone was thinking about it, what
yeah.
would you tell
Oh
them?
man. Oh, what do we say,
I
Steve?
don't know.
I
I
know, right? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. The first couple of days, I was just kind of like, yeah, this is cool. And then, like, as I played more, it feels like I got to a place where I'm like, wait and see if some of this stuff gets worked out.
Yeah.
Like, when they get the physical version, are they going to have a big update for it? And
Right.
then, yeah, the other thing with it is it's so gigantic of a file,
Yeah.
like it's like you literally have to have an SD card.
Right.
So yeah, if you don't, like, people just ignore this game completely.
That's
So
true.
yeah, but most of us do. We're gonna buy an SD card, stuff
Right.
like that. But so it's not horrible or anything, but it's just kind of like, you have this gigantic game. You're thinking we've got to download it digitally. You have to, it's just there's so many glitch things around it. There's so much cloudiness there that it's really tough for me to just say, yeah, go drop $60 on this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Is like if it didn't cost $60, if for instance it was like, let's say, maybe that is my recommendation. Like, if you want to support NBA and other sports kind of stuff on the Nintendo Switch, go out and buy it. And that's really one of the reasons why I sprung early, because I wanted to support that. I want to see this happen over again. I want to see them get better. So if that's your thinking, then go support it if you haven't downloaded it already. But if you're still on the fence, I'd almost wait until it drops down to a discount if they do that. Like if it was like 50 or $40, I'd say yeah, it's worth that to get it, to have some fun, because it's gonna be a blast. I mean, especially if you got some friends, you can play a game with them together, and going through some of the My Team and the My Career and everything, that is fun. But it's just not as polished as it could have been, and not finished. Like, and we may see some updates, and if it starts getting updated, I could change my opinion on that.
Boy, you betcha. Yeah, that's right. No doubt.
I think right now I'm like, if you're not a huge NBA fan and you're not a huge a person that wants to really support sports on the Switch, maybe hold off for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's dead on. I really want to encourage people to go and support this, because it is a big third-party game that Nintendo doesn't get a lot of them sometimes. And so there's people that are saying, hey, we're backing you. And 2K is one of those companies. And so just to kind of say, thank you, 2K, for supporting Nintendo and going out there, like that really became a big part of what made me decide that too. Yeah, it really did. And so I was like, yeah, this is probably not going to be as great a graphics. It's not going to be the 60 frames per second. It's not, it's not that level, but it's got all the modes that it has in the PS4 and Xbox versions. Mm-hmm. It's like, it looks good. And, the gameplay when you're in the game plays well. It's like, there's just this other stuff around it. So yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. Yeah. Go support some third-party stuff, because we do need a lot more, and we keep getting good announcements, and I'm excited about that. So I hope they just keep pushing that way and keep moving forward. So
I do. I just thought about this though too. Like, if amendment to what I just said, if you're going to primarily play your Switch handheld, you might want to actually jump on this, because I think where I've noticed it could be better on the TV, but when I played it in handheld, I'm like, this is really awesome that I get a full NBA game in a handheld, and I can take that with me. So if that may sway your opinion a little bit if you play a lot of handhelds on your Switch like that. It may actually be worth it then if you really want a full NBA game on there.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that too. That's really
it's something
good.
I forget about on the Switch. It's like, you can take it with you, and like, when you think about that, and that's one of the reasons why I swayed and got it on Switch as well. Not only did I want to support it, I wanted to, talk about Nintendo Fuse and everything, but I knew that if I bought it on Xbox, it's sitting in my living room, and that's where it's staying.
Yeah,
but
that's
I could take it with me.
Oh, it's so true.
And I'm flying tomorrow, and I'm playing. Like, I can take NBA 2K with me. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big selling point for sure. So, it's a wonderful thing. Yeah, that you could even just like sit in bed and do that. Mm-hmm. The thing I would want to suggest to people is, if you want to play a lot of My Career, or like some other stuff, it's kind of like My Team. It's literally stuck to internet. So make sure you do have some sort of wireless connection or something somewhere that you are going those places. I was like, if you're just going to play random games and stuff, it's great. I rode a lot in the car this past week, and it was nice. I even, played a little game just sitting in the car while
Yeah.
my wife was driving.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely
That did
recommend.
catch me off guard. I forgot about that. That it needs to have internet connection because I remember I lost it. It dropped connection one time. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, why can't I still play this? Like it
that's
downloaded
right.
a ton of information on my Switch. Why can't I
It's
play this
so
game
true.
without
That's
internet?
right.
So
That's
I don't know,
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
but yeah, if you do have, there's Wi-Fi connection spots everywhere, and people can hotspot their phones and things like
Yeah.
that. So, if you do
So.
that, you can play pretty much the entire full game,
Mm,
anywhere you want to go that has,
right.
some sort of Wi-Fi or cellular connection. So that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
Hmm.
Oh,
Hmm.
cool. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Blake, and talking about this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Steve. It's good to talk about some third-party support on the
It's been a
Nintendo
long
console.
time since I've really talked a sports game, especially
Yeah,
lately.
that's probably true. That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
Oh man.
So, hey, if you're new to the channel and everything, make sure you subscribe and you get alerted to all that stuff by hitting that bell. And we'll let you know about new videos we put out each week. We got game chats like this about a bunch of other games, so you can check out our archive. But we also have industry interviews with our Industry Talk show. We just put on a really cool one last week. If you're into the Virtual Boy, you can check that out. And we have once a month, we also have a podcast that we do. And we have a whole other videos, gameplay videos, and playthroughs and all that other stuff. So make sure you subscribe to Nintendo Fuse here on YouTube. And again, thanks, Blake. And thank you guys for checking out this edition of Game Chat. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. See you guys.
Well said.
Yeah.
No need to add anything to that.
Continuity.
Continuity.